Really? Hey, what it do? This is your boy God, y'all. God bless y'all. And I hope y'all having a blessed and a fantastic day. Yes, your boy is your first movie review. And I'm letting y'all know, it's a spoilers movie review. So, if y'all haven't seen the movie just yet, please don't watch the video. Go check it out. Or you gotta wait till next month in July. It will come out on Blu-ray. Check it out. Then come back and see this video. Y'all need some time to click out the video. Oh, I'll wait. Just wait. Alright, let's get to it. First of all, Chris lost his game! Woo! Okay, just need to get that out there for a minute. Now we got that out the way. Let's get to it. Man, first of all, Takanori Sugimoto, Takashi Shimizu, Makoto Fukami, Kenji Kawae, Hiroyuki Kabayashi. Good job, good job. Excellent cinematology. Excellent CGI. Excellent animation. Just the whole movie is excellent. First we have the intro where Leon walks in slow motion and starts a narration of basically of his life leading up to this point. Basically just like, you know, growing up, he never expected to be in this position that he is now, and that this is the life that he wanted to live or expected to live. And you see he's walking into a morgue, basically just like in a sense of remembrance, like, you know, a couple of people who was real dear to him that he have lost, you know, over time. And in an interim of basically just viewing the bodies, one of them basically resurrected itself, and he basically took out that pistol and just doom. And basically continue with the narration. Then we jump start to our boy Chris. Dang, he lost those games. Steroids in a chopper with a squad, and I love how the camera focused on his AR-15, just loading it up, knowing that he's about to get business done. We about to go to war. One of the members of the squad basically recognizes Chris and basically just being totally sarcastic with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you Chris Redfield, the expert of the living dead, the hero. How many you killed? So, Mr. Expert, any tips on how to deal with these things? And Chris basically looks at him, told him like, you know, you got any friends? Got any family? And the guy basically replied, yeah, I got friends, I got family, a wife. And Chris basically politely just told him, just there's corporations out there turning people like you and me into bioweapons. And one day, you're gonna have to face a decision. You kill them or be killed. Doesn't sound too heroic, does it? And he looks down just like, man, sorry. Like, hush. Just really just shut him down. But basically, you know, they just continue with the mission, and they head into Arklay Mountains, where you guessed it, Spencer's mansion, where it all began. The top objective is not only a capture, but also a search and rescue mission. For they got to search and rescue a mother and a son, and capture a black market arms dealer, which name is Glenn Arias, who's also a top member of the Neo Umbrella, quote unquote, New Umbrella. Was a ruthless bioterrorist organization secretly founded by Carla Radamy, Resident Evil 5, in which its collapse in 2013 basically was salvaged by Glenn Arias. I like it when they put a lot of references in this movie that's related to the game, who was basically caught by the federal government, who caught wind of a secret activity. That's when Chris and the squad comes into play, where they basically to search and stop him from selling and dealing bioweapons to the competition, to the enemy. And yes, there's a new umbrella. And even back then, just a little history of Umbrella. It's spread out throughout the whole entire world. There's the Umbrella Corporation, there's Umbrella USA, there's Umbrella Europe, there's Umbrella Africa, there's Umbrella Russia, there's Umbrella Japan. Can the list go on? Umbrella has spread across the whole entire globe of its pharmaceutical, which acts as a holding company and which is highly influential of the federal government in the 90s. Man, there's so many umbrellas, you think that's the Illuminati. Well, Los Illuminados. Giant conglomerate operation act as a major international player in a number of markets, including pharmaceuticals, medical equipment, as well as top secret operations utilize genetic engineering, biological weaponry, as well as operate as a malevolent paramilitary organization, in which the division consists of highly trained security force capable of rescue, Resident Evil 7, performing reconnaissance and conducting all paramilitary operations, uses resources to secure and protect its assets, as well as high-profile employees, in which the Umbrella Corporation was founded in 1968 by Lord Oswald E. Spencer, Sir Edward Ashford, and Dr. James Marcus, which Spencer basically referenced that in Resident Evil 5. Too bad it didn't work out for him.
It was to become a god. Creating a new world with an advanced race of human beings. However, all was lost with wreck. Despite that setback, your creation still holds great significance. Now my candle burns dimly. Ironic, isn't it? For one who has the right to be a god. To face his own mortality.
The right to be a god. That right is now mine.
But back to it. The squad head to the Spencer Mansion, and when I tell you the artwork and cinematology was on point, it is literally the exact resemblance of the Resident Evil 1 game. When you walk through the doors and you look basically in the outside, you're thinking the dogs will chase you, which I'm coming to you later. They walk into the dining room, and they see just the dining room set perfectly, like dinner's about to be served, or someone basically just about to sit there and eat. And that's where pretty much they came across, one of the survivors, which is the boy who got infected. And the crazy thing is, they saw one of the squad members saw some under the covers, they snatched it back, and it was a patrol car. And it kind of added a couple of jump scares into the movie, where the car basically started, moving by itself. And in my mind, I'm thinking like when it first, happened, I'm thinking like, it's somebody trapped in the house and they using the car to get their attention and let them know like, hey, I'm right here, I'm still alive. No, it's one of the zombies, which is the little boy, basically still operating the car, squat in the corner hiding. And that's when the whole attack comes. When the zombies started running. Oh, I forgot Resident Evil 6, the C virus. But yeah, them zombies were smart. But it just come to find out, it's like the past Resident Evil series, the whole squad gets wiped out. And the only ones that's left is just the main protagonist, which is Chris or Leon, whoever's leading the squad. And I just like how Chris just take on that leadership in which the position that he deserves and basically is right for the job. And basically just just hand it on the enemy. Just bring back so many memories of countless hours as a kid just playing all the Resident Evil games, which is 1, Nicole Veronica. Because that's basically, you see Chris in Resident Evil 1, you see him in Code Veronica, and you see him in Resident Evil 5, as well as 6. Like, just bring back so many memories though. And Chris basically meets up with Glenn Arias, and here comes his fight scene or whatever. I've been telling you about these Resident Evil references, because it's like, once again, Chris get his butt handed to him. Each and every time. Like literally, come on, Chris. Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil Code Veronica, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6. Like, Come on, man. Like, get it together, Chris. Get it together, man. I'm just playing, Chris, man. Please don't come to my house and mess me up. I'm a huge fan. But yeah, he get his butt handed to him. But it's like the fight scene with him and Glenn in the beginning. I promise you, it seemed like he was fighting Wesker all over again. Because, I mean, just the demeanor and the stance. That he just basically, like, you know, disarmed Chris. Each weapon. First it was just the AR-15. And then it was his 3-burst Beretta. His three burst modified Beretta that he basically snatched and basically disarmed the clip and took the bullet out the chamber and just threw it. Basically just talking to Chris of his plans and his plot and whatever. And then we got a little more info on this new virus that he's basically selling on the black market, which is called the A virus, in which it has 3 strands of the virus. Because the only reason it's different from other viruses is that this virus not only reanimated the dead bodies, but it also affects the living at a faster rate. But not only that, it controls and knows the difference between friend and foe. So it basically works as an ally as well as an enemy at the same time. When Arius told his bodyguard to bring out, you know, the specimen of the A virus, which this big dude, I'm like, what the heck is that? He looked like a mixture of Nemesis for Resident Evil 3 and Eustanix for Resident Evil 6. That was a swole dude. I'm like saying, like, you know, hey, when Bane came in this movie, I thought Bane was in DC. Batman's enemy. But we also have, you know, the scene with Glenn Arias where he's basically, you know, getting married to his wife. And also you see friends and family at the wedding, you know, congratulating on their holy matrimony. You also have, you know, Diego and Maria there as well, who is basically close friends. For both the bride and the groom. And, you know, before you know it, just like, you know, you just see that Glenn holding his wife's hand, and he looks up and he just sees a missile coming straight at him, straight at the wedding. And we later on find out that the missile came from the government because, you know, they just see it as a threat, the reaction of Raccoon City all over again, the extinction of humanity. But miraculously, he survived, being shielded by Diego Gomez. But it seems like everybody that was there was wiped out clean due to the blast. And the only survivors was Arias, Diego, and Maria. And one of the most touching, I mean, you could just basically, I can understand where he's coming from, where just as in just the way he was feeling, basically just the pain of the loss of basically, like, you know, you moving through the rubble of the blast and you still hanging onto your wife's hand at the moment where the bomb came and hit. But that's all you have is literally your wife's hand just dangling right in front of you with the wedding ring and all. So he was just basically gone into busting into tears and the chaos and just his sorrow. So I understand, you know, how he felt or whatever. But even due to the incident and the loss of his wife and his friends and family, you know, he just basically took it upon himself to make a vow of revenge and anger and bitterness, basically take his anger back to the government, back to the world, and make it its atonement for sins, based to release the A, to do research over the years to develop the A virus and a reenaction of Raccoon City all over again, but this time global. Kind of like a double standard. But yeah, man, experiencing that, it will mess anybody up. Even the toughest person in the world, it will mess you up. Just to have a friend or family member, you know, just to be nuked, you know, in the process, and just to hang on. You survive, you just to hang on to their hand. They just literally a hand, like the body is gone, but he still got the hand with the wedding ring on it. So just like that just brings out a flooding of emotions, and it's just crazy. And then we jump ahead to Rebecca's scene where we first meet her for the first time, where she is in the laboratory in the lab coat, where she's truly fulfilling her calling years beyond, you know, from her Resident Evil 1 days as part of the STARS team. You know, portraying as the team's medic for the Bravo team. Seeing her in that lab coat, you know, seeing her pursuing her career, and they would make a couple of references in that scene saying Professor Chambers. Like literally, she has really moved her way up to a professor. And you see her basically looking at footage of the chaos that's going on in the cities due to the AIDS virus, and also doing her research in developing a vaccine for that specific DNA, and also to aid others and prevent future outbreaks. And even if you move forward where Marina Gomez, where she basically infiltrated the laboratory and sabotaged it, the A virus gas into the ventilation system, where basically all the people that's in the laboratory, all the scientists basically inhaled it and basically turned into a bioweapon, in which including Rebecca herself. Luckily, she finished and came up with a vaccine that was targeted her DNA. So in the interim of basically, through her transformation, because you can see that when you see that in the first scene where the soldiers got infected, they transformed quick, whether they got bit. Well, they only showed where they got bitten, and you see that same transformation only basically being inhaled with the gas of the A virus, that it started to transform the scientists quickly, as well as Rebecca. But luckily, she reached the vaccine in time to inject herself and reverted back to her original self. And you come across a scene where she's just clueless of what's going on. She walks out the laboratory, she looks to her left, and I like how references. They reference one of the zombies that's eating one of the victims, and he raised up and turned and looked left. Like, the same thing in the same picture that basically got us Resident Evil die-hard fans hooked on the franchise for all these years. I was like, yes, a reference, let's go. And you could tell through the years that a lot has changed with Rebecca. She's not her original self when she was on the Star Survival team, where she wasn't really physically strong, but you could tell she had some combat experiences to her. But it seemed like she left that behind when she pursued her career in medicine and put on that lab coat, because it just seems like, she was dodging, the attacks or whatever, and she just basically hooked on to her instance of seeing what she could grab and basically kill the zombie. But just as in fighting it off, you could see she's lost her muscle memory when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. Like, come on, Resident Evil 0, come on. And then the second attack came where she snuck into the office and basically, I'm just letting you know, bottle of water. Just remember that. Bottle of water. Water, period. Just remember that. Like I said, they had a couple of jump scares, just like, she looks over to see what's going on, and she looks back, drink a sip, looks over, drinks a sip. Then that's when that jump scare happens, when that zombie just come over to the table and basically try to attack her. And you see like the zombie getting shot, and basically it's one of the members of the squad, of Chris's squad, the BSAA, and also Chris himself, who comes in just the nick of time, just to rest. Chris caught wind of Rebecca's research on the A virus, and basically want to know more intel on the situation of basically creating the vaccine. That's when basically Rebecca gave Chris full intel of the situation, explained the differences of the virus, and this is different from any virus that we have encountered since the Spencer's mansion. I'm gonna get more into the explanation of the virus later on. But also we have Chris and Rebecca was basically catching up. Chris was basically iterating that Rebecca's research is the top research in the world, and just hopped on the first plane and basically to track her down. And not only that, he recognized her research, but also the world too as well, including Arius. And he's using everything in his power to stop her research so he can continue with his plans and his agenda. Rebecca, she realized she sent her research to the WHO, and also sent it to a laboratory who specialized in creating vaccines for other BLWs. But in the interim of her research, she compared the virus to past BLWs from previous Resident Evil series. And she said the closest match that she basically came across is the same research in the Los Illuminados cult of the Los Plagas, Resident Evil 4. Compared, the further there was talk about the traits of the virus, they recognize that they need to find something who has experience in this situation, in where origin of the virus may come from, which is Leon, which they track him down the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, basically just sitting there supposedly on vacation, just drinking his life away. My friend and I, we was kind of like, upset of how that's how they introduced Leon, into the movie, where it's just as in, he's just like, kind of low-key dumbed down, but at the same time, you don't understand, just as in when you figure out later on in the movie, it's just like he's just suffering, he's going through a depression, of basically of a mission that he did, that he led a squad in which later on he was betrayed, and which cost the lives of his whole entire squad. And he just basically, like, you know, just trying to numb the pain of just drinking all day, every day. He stood there, like, you know, depressed, and he basically iterated that, you know, he had a mission in DC in which cost the life of his whole entire squad due to, you know, basically being ratted out. And he felt responsible and depressed because he was in charge of that squad, and those squad, of course, has families. So what do you do? And here's the funny part is where Chris comes in. Chris is basically on his head, like, you know, cut the crap or whatever, and this and other thing. And I'm like, well, look at the pot calling the kettle black. Did you not forget, Chris, that you had this same ordeal in Resident Evil 6 when Pierce was basically looking for you and you was down in the bar, in the dumps, and depressed, drinking your life away because he felt responsible and didn't want to remember of the squad members that basically was at your hand, and basically they lost their lives due to the BOWs and the people was responsible of creating those BOWs of a failed mission.
Another round.
Hard to find a good steak around here. Not like back home.
Fill her up.
You've had enough.
Listen, sweetheart. You're here to pour drinks and look pretty. So how about you shut your mouth?
How about you get the hell out of my bar?
Nowhere to go.
Ej, dama vas je zamolila da odete. I said she asked you to leave.
Never thought I'd find Chris Redfield wasting away in a shithole like this.
Who the hell are you?
Piers. Piers Nivens?
Never heard of you.
How about this? You heard of this?
What is that?
You really don't remember anything, do you? Bioterrorism. You can't hide from your past, Chris. No matter where you go or what you do.
Who are you? What is this?
Okay. You don't remember me? Well, how about them? Look. I said look! Those were your men. Men who died under your command. You owe it to them to remember, Chris. If you walk away now, then this was all for nothing. Enough! Damn it. 6 months of searching for you. And this is what I find. Yeah. It's where you belong. Everyone's waiting.
Everyone.
We're taking you back, Captain. One way or another.
So you was once there, so at least I would have thought that he would understand. And it was Pierce who basically had to snap him out of it to saying, like, you know, what happened to the famous Chris Redfield. And Chris, if you don't get up and do something, then all these lives of these men will mean nothing. And that was deep. And I guess the same, you know, tough love and the hard truth that Pierce gave to him when he was going through at the time, he's using that same tough love to Leon and saying, like, basically, my boy, if you don't do anything, all those lives that happened that you lost at DC, and basically that explains him going into the morgue and walking in just to basically pay tribute, pay respect, and just to come across that one of the bodies is basically being reanimated and turned to a zombie. You putting bullets in his head. So it's like, and then we come across, a guy that Leon was talking about that basically ratted him out and portrayed, him and his whole entire squad. And basically just like the funny thing is, just as Chris held him up or whatever, and the guy he was worried talking about like, you gotta protect me, you gotta protect my family, because the same people that he ratted him out to, basically they after him because he knows too much, so they're gonna kill him and kill his family. And basically, Chris was basically talking about, told him like, Glenn Arias, and he was like, how did you know? And the funny thing is, Chris looked up and talking about, I'm psychic. Like, that's how I know. But here comes Diego with this big gun, just throwing bullets, just shredding the whole building, like, just shredding the whole entire building. All you see is bullets just hitting the walls and the wood or whatever. And I feel so bad for that bartender. Like, it just, she's just being hit with lead. And the sad part about the lead is the bullets is so strong that it basically chewed through, like just sawed off her arm. So you saw her arm just going flying, hit the wall and sliding down. And just like, this is after they capture Rebecca. So Rebecca's kidnapped. I find it kind of odd that the whole entire place was riddled with bullets, and the only thing still hold intact and not damaged was the laptop. Like, really, Capcom? And then we jump off to Ares and Rebecca's scene, where she wakes up out of her unconsciousness in a wedding dress, and just her surroundings is just like, a reenactment of Ares' wedding. And basically she explained to him, like, she knows the origin and the complete setup of the virus. And basically she broke down, step by step of the virus, the origin of it, how it's created, how it's basically researched, and its intention, and how it basically affects each and every one of us, and lays dormant inside of us right now. And basically she was just basically saying in steps or whatever, just as there are 3 strains of the virus. 1 is the infection, 2 acts as a trigger, and 3 have the option to choose whether to attack and who not to attack. And basically like an activation, pretty much the vaccine. When Ares sees Rebecca, she is like the split image of his wife, Sarah. Like, if you look at the picture, they look exactly alike or whatever. So he's still, you could say he's kind of sick in his head, because he brings out his wife's arm. This, the same arm that he basically held on to after the blast. He kept hold on that arm. And he showed her, like, this is my wife, introduced her. So basically, you could tell, like, the experience was really traumatized to him, and it really affects him psychologically, because he is sick in the head. And he basically see Rebecca as Sarah, basically, I'm gonna do the wedding all over again. And, my friends, my family, they are with us, which he kept the reanimated bodies due to the blast in boxes, just to basically hold witness of that holy matrimony. And, Rebecca looked at him like, dude, you're sick. I am not Sarah. So, Ares basically, like I said, after Rebecca explained the plan to Ares, he basically moved forward with the situation, with his plan, a little bit sooner, going to major areas of the cities in New York to affect people with the gas virus. And the BSA, came to time, he attacked a couple of bioweapons or whatever. And what really captured my attention, like, I feel sorry for one of the squad members, man, because he had to be the hero and open that door, and which one of 2 of the dogs basically attacked and killed him. But these are not the ordinary dogs. These are not the same Resident Evil dogs that we experienced in Resident Evil 1 that chased them through the woods. These dogs are smart. These dogs, you might as well call them Flash, because those dogs are fast. Leon was booking like 70 or 80 or 90 miles per hour on that motorcycle on the freeway, and them dogs is just literally just running, just passing them cars or whatever, and just like, going cross or whatever. Just going side to side, basically trying to attack them. And it seemed like, like an episode, like a part in the movie The Matrix. He just shooting back at the dogs, and man, it's like just that action scene alone, it just blew my mind away of just fighting them dogs. And it just seems like I said, it just bring back so many memories and references of Resident Evil 1 when they was in the Arkley Mountains, and they was chasing the dogs leading up to the mansion. And now, you know, he's in the city doing that same chase sequence for the same, I mean, not from the same, but from the dogs. They're basically chasing Leon on a motorcycle. But literally, if it was those same dogs was in Resident Evil 1, the whole squad team and the Alpha team, they would have been dead by now. Because running is not enough. If they could catch up him going full speed on a motorcycle, what makes you think they're gonna do with those who are running? Chris makes it to the compound where Rebecca is, and basically, you know, in the search, you know, of her, you know, Ares can talk to the intercom, and basically releasing the BOWs or whatever. And when I tell you, the fights and the action scenes in this movie, OMG. First it went into, like, you know, first person mode, which is a reference in Resident Evil Survivor, and also, you know, Call of Duty of basically of him, you know, shooting the BOWs or whatever, and him, I mean, he doing a couple of fight scenes. But when Leon comes onto the scene and basically, you know, saving his life, them two together, it went from Resident Evil to John Wick. And Chris came across Rebecca where she basically being affected with the updated A virus, in which, you know, saying, like, you know, she has, like, you know, 10 minutes before the virus takes full effect. And they basically have to find the trigger to release the gas in order to reverse the process. This means Ares on the roof and them fighting once again, Chris, man. I'm just gonna let you know right now, when you go see this movie, don't bring logic into this, because some of the parts in this movie, it's not gonna make sense. It's not gonna make logical sense. Like, you know, how is this even possible? I mean, you got the fight scene or whatever, which is really amazing. But at the same time, you know, just as, you know, bullets is flying, they dodging bullets, you know, they fighting hand-to-hand in combat. You know, you can see, like, you know, Krav Maga, you know, self-defense combat in there. But it's like, you see how, you know, Chris doing a lot much better since the first fight scene he did with Ares. But my thing is, if he's knocking you out, he's still putting them hands, Ares still putting them hands on Chris. My thing is, he's knocking him out, and he hits him so hard that the back of his head hit the back of the glass and put a hole in it. Like I said, logic, don't do it. How the heck you have conscious? How can you able to withstand that impact of force onto your skull and still remain conscious, just to have enough strength to toss him over you to go through that hole of the glass, falling like at least 10 or 12 stories down and land to his death? Like, come on, really? And then, I mean, then you see Ares, you know, on the ground bleeding out. And, you know, here comes Diego. He told him, like, to move forward with his plan. In which Diego's going through the mutation process. And, you know, basically the metal parts is popping out of his spine, out of his shoulders. He took off his mask. He looks ugly. You see the mutation, you know, splurge out through his back. And from the look of his back, it looked like the mouth of one of those vampires off of Blade 2. Comes Leon, you know, basically taking on that big thing. Leon, you're a ride or die, bruh. I mean, just taking him on, and just like, you know, the hope, I mean, like Diego, he is gripping him. And basically, here's my thing too. He grips Leon and just launched him. Like, yeet! And Leon hits the walls, ricocheted on the ground, and he's still getting up like it was nothing. Like, you know, really? Like I said, logic, don't do it. You're gonna give yourself a headache. How can you sustain and survive all of that impact alone? Like, you know, no broken bones, no dislocated shoulder, no nothing. And, you know, and here comes, like, you know, and, you know, of course it makes it obvious, all Capcom enemies, you see, you know, when it comes to saying in Resident Evil, they always have a weak point. And you clearly see Diego's heart was basically flashing and warming like a heart, you know, heart, the same thing in Resident Evil 5, with Wesker, you know, leaves an opening in his heart and everything to attack. Same thing with Diego. And here comes, you know, the squad members coming in the helicopter, and here comes one with this huge sniper fusion cannon that literally, oh my god, when she shot Diego, I mean, she was like a few inches from his heart. Like, literally a few inches from his heart. But the thing is, the bullet, the fusion rifle, I mean the fusion ammo that went through Diego's body, and it hits 3 and 4 buildings and causing a huge explosion. And I'm like, wow. It went through him like Piccolo used a special beam cannon, and it went through Raditz and through Goku. But man, yeah, he did work. He did work in fighting back Diego, basically just dodging and evading his hits, and basically pulling out this magnum that basically just, you know, letting off rounds or whatever. In spite of him doing the uppercut, somehow he basically maneuvered himself to basically slide down his arm and still shoot him with that magnum. But of course, Dio did a Spartan kick and basically kicked him so far he hit the rail of the glass rail. And once again, how the heck his shoulders not dislocated? And the interim of grabbing him, lifting him in the air, he put out his hand and his nails extended in reference Resident Evil 3. Like, you just see the same ending, you know, from majority of the Resident Evil franchise. You just see, like, you know, the family vibe or whatever, just, you know, looking at each other, saying like, you know, we survived this, and it seems like, you know, it's not over. We still got a lot of work to do. We still gotta produce, you know, these vaccines to target these, you know, bioweapons. But, you know, it's just like, it's the same way you see in Resident Evil 1, 3, 5, and 6, just as in, like, you know, being rescued from the chopper. But deep down inside, you just see that it's not over. We still got a lot of work to do. And I applaud the actors who played these characters, because I feel like they took on the chemistry of the characters. They have performed their characters really well. But overall, I truly love it. The fight choreographer, man, good job. You know, I enjoy myself. I can't wait for it to come out next month on Blu-ray, which is in July. My rating for this movie, I pretty much, you know, give it a 4 out of 5. It basically captures your attention, you know, the artwork, the CGI, everything they're putting forth to the movie, you know, which is great. They put a lot of references of the Resident Evil franchise into it to basically, you know, target the Resident Evil veterans, the Resident Evil fans. But like I said, I was kind of disappointed, you know, some of the fight scenes where it could have put more work into it, you know, into, like, you know, ended it pretty much well or whatever. Like I said, don't come in and watch this movie with logic. It's a fictional movie. But man, if you like what you see, if you like these reviews, hit that subscribe button. Also hit that bell to hit notifications for future reviews, future gameplays, and etc. Also shout out to my bro Reckless_Fox. Make sure you follow his YouTube channel and also his Twitch channel as well. And also shout out to the rest of the fam, you know, and everything. But yeah, I would love to hear from you guys. You know, those who watch the movie, you know, hit the comment box below and let me know what your experience, what you think of the movie, and what you think about the overall of the movie, how you feel, and what Capcom should have did a little bit more or a little bit less, or was it just like, you know, I want to hear from you guys. You know, come on, we family. We, you know, we RE fans, ride or die, we are family. I'll talk to your boy. You know, I love you guys. God bless and peace.